Reese. I step into the ice tunnel lit with crystals, thankful that I'm no longer in the giant snake. I'm now on the path to the giant turtle. If I was going to build a town somewhere and a giant turtle was an option, I would probably build it there as long as it didn't hurt the turtle. But my limited experience with the science side of architecture leads me to believe that my building decisions are questionable at best. So, town on a giant turtle? Fun idea, but probably not the best one. But better than the giant snake. Once we get through the ice tunnel, it seals up behind us, and we're on our way down an icy path toward a town in the distance. A blue and pink town. Almost everything around me is blue, but if it isn't blue, it's pink or gray. The world around me looks like a cross between a winter wonderland from a Christmas DLC and a standard barren wasteland. A winter wonderland of dust at dusk. Everything still smells a bit like flowers, but I'm pretty sure that's just the residue from the giant snake. The world around me certainly doesn't look like it should smell like flowers. Unless it's coming from the crystal light posts. Every so often we pass what looks like a light post topped with an intricate arrangement of pink crystals. I think each one is unique. I start taking pictures of each one to test that theory. They're really pretty, but I don't think they smell like flowers. The farther we get from the giant snake, the more the scent of flowers fades. As we get closer to the town, I've confirmed there are at least 5 different arrangements on the posts, and I haven't seen any repeats. And again, I'm glad Clone's crystal strands are the exception and not the norm. I like getting to see the world around me in color, even if it's only 3 colors. I can also make out some of the details of the town itself. It looks normal, all things considered. I mean, not quite normal, but far more normal than I was expecting. I think all the pink accents are crystals, considering the way they shine a bit as opposed to the blue stone that all the buildings are made of. There seem to be some intricate designs carved into the stone, but the main decorations seem to be crystals. The crystal accents kind of look like candy on a gingerbread cookie house. A bit overwhelming in some places, like they were glopped on like icing, but in a charming way. In other places, it's more precise, less heaped together and more spread out in appealing patterns. But it's still a bit overwhelming. The crystals are just a lot to use this much. I kinda like it though. It makes the whole town look like a gingerbread village. The closer we get, the more details I can make out. The stone details on the buildings remind me of gingerbread, the architecture style, or at least gingerbread adjacent. I might just want gingerbread cookies. I can start seeing people in the distance as well. Everyone appears to be blue. I could probably blend in with the right clothes and a can of blue spray paint. I hope I can get some new clothes. Being in a broken suit is kind of freaking me out. But would not wearing my suit be any better? Probably. It would be like playing a video game. Keep telling yourself that, Reese. Keep telling yourself that. We're here, Skrion says. I shake myself out of my thoughts and look up to see a crowd of people at the edge of town waiting for us. Standing at the front of the crowd is a pale blue woman who just looks like a town elder. I bet the Ari ladies will look like her in a few decades. The elder has the same crown and necklace as the Ari ladies, just without the crystals. Actually, everyone in the crowd is wearing the same crown and necklace. I thought it was a status symbol. But the real status symbol seems to be the white fur gown. The elder is the only one wearing a white gown like the Ari ladies. It's just missing the crystals. The other people in the crowd wear a variety of clothes made of fluffy gray fur. The crystals are an Ari lady thing, it seems. I say that, but everyone here probably has a house decorated in crystals. The elder steps forward. An all-knowing smile graces her features. She doesn't have colorful face marks like the Ari ladies. She says something. Her voice is clear, almost melodic. Skrion and Clone respond in the same language. Clone turns to me. We introduced you to our leader. She's thrilled to meet you, Reese. Neat, I say. I turn to the elder and smile. She smiles in return. The conversation continues with Clone occasionally pausing to translate for me. My inability to speak the language makes the meeting a little awkward, but the elder seems happy to meet me, and I don't have to show off my questionable lying abilities, so I think this is a win-win situation all around. It's interesting to hear them talk. Their language is so different from any language I've ever heard before. It's impressive how quickly Clone and Skrion were able to pick up English when it's so different from their own language. But as interesting as it is to listen to them, eventually smiling and making eye contact with someone I'm not really talking to gets a little weird. I start looking around when she turns to Skrion. My eyes land on the people who walked up beside her. They're both pale blue like she is. Everyone is pale blue like the elder. Only the 2 Ari ladies have skin tones and hair that are more saturated shades of blue. That's kind of weird. There's also something weird about the woman on the right. She looks familiar, and I'm not sure why. Her and the man on the left are both wearing the same gray fur robe that's not quite as puffy as the one the elder and the Ari ladies wear, but I don't get that eerily familiar feeling when I look at him. I think it might be her face, her expressions, the way she's smiling, especially the last one. It's so familiar, but I can't place it. We'll start the ritual after getting some rest, Clone finally says, and we bid the elder and the crowd goodbye. Well, the Ari ladies bid them goodbye. I attempt to. Reese. Walking through the streets of Sheeta, I've come to the conclusion that it appears equally like a gingerbread village up close, and there are some designs that definitely look like gingerbread, the architecture style. The only thing that isn't in line with gingerbread, the architecture style, besides the crystals, is the shape of the buildings. Some look too round or just misshapen. It looks like the gingerbread embellishments and crystal decor were designed around those odd shapes. One thing I appreciate about the decor is if they put crystal designs on top of other crystals, they use different shades of pink. one of the two shades of pink that they have here. Blueberries pink or cotton candies pink. I keep an eye out for anyone who is in pale blue or wearing gray fur, but everyone is pale blue wearing gray fur clothes like the people who greeted us at the entrance. Maybe the implications of that wouldn't bother me so much if people reacted normally to the Ari ladies. There are two types of people on Sheeta, the people who avoid the Ari ladies and the people who don't avoid the Ari ladies. The first type doesn't seem bothered by an alien wandering around their town, something I'd expect more of a reaction to considering I'm the first one. They just rush by, not even looking at us. I guess I'm not too weird, just a different colored Pegian. No, that's weird, I don't call myself an Earthling. Sheetian? But that's not the species. Did Clone mention their species? I'll ask later. Doesn't seem like a good time right now because of the second type of people. Whenever diplomats appeared on screen back on Outlier, everyone seemed bored or unimpressed by them. Except Eliza and Liam, the eternal optimist and the man who can't bring himself not to care. The people of Sheeta look at the Ari ladies with this respect and reverence, the way people in cults look at their leaders. That's creepy, Reese. I'm starting to sound like Helen. People in perfectly normal religious groups look at their leaders that way as well. And now I'm starting to sound like Mom. The people who stop Skrion to talk don't do anything particularly weird outside of that greeting I failed earlier, and I don't know what they're saying, but it's just a feeling I get when I watch them. We get to a building that must be their home since Clone just walks in without knocking. Clone, wait! Oh, there she goes, Skrion says and sighs before turning to me with an apologetic smile. You can follow her inside. We still have some tasks to finish up today. I'll handle that while you get settled in. You sure? I ask, knowing the chances I can help are slim to none. Skrion nods. Go inside and take a break, dear. You've been through quite a bit recently. You must be tired. Okay, I agree. Skrion smiles before heading off. I turn back to the house. It's a nice house. Just big enough to not be cramped, just small enough to be cozy. Some nice embellishment around the edges of the roof, one of the more uniformly round roofs I've seen in town. I wonder if they appreciate the shape as well because they didn't cover it in crystals like a cake and icing. Instead, the crystals are placed in small bunches across the edge like gumdrops. There seem to be an even number of blueberry pink and cotton candy pink crystals. On the side of the house is an intricate trellis with no plants to crawl up it next to a small section of dirt. I wonder if it's a new garden or just not a good time to grow plants. Or maybe it's not a garden at all. I walk up the steps of the small porch and lean over the small dirt block to see if I can see any evidence of it being a garden. I can't. I turn to the front door, the only opening to the house. There aren't any windows. I guess it's because all the light here comes from the crystals that seem easy enough to get and take inside a building. No wonder Clone finds them so fascinating. Wait, that's dumb. Everyone on Earth isn't fascinated with steel, light bulbs, or even the mechanics behind the internet. Only outliers are really interested in those things. At least as far as I know, I'm pretty disconnected from what's cool on Earth. Maybe everyone loves steel and talks about that whenever they're not talking about all the other things I couldn't possibly understand. I really should go inside. The door is cool to the touch, but not unpleasant like it really should be considering how cold this planet is. However cold that is. I really should have done some research before I left the base. It would have taken too long. We don't know how much time their elder has left. I didn't have a choice. The door opens easily. The front room smells subtly sweet. Not floral, but more like baked goods. The inside of the house reminds me of the giant snake's mouth, cluttered in a familiar way. Well, not the same way. The clutter of the snake's mouth was more like the inside of an adventurer's office, or maybe a forgotten antique shop. Maps, charts, bits and baubles. The clutter here is an assortment of personal touches you pick up over time in a home, various knickknacks that don't quite match but look oddly perfect together, a statue of a red blowbird, a chunk of rock with a symbol carved in it, and much more, including pictures everywhere. Pictures of Skrion and Cologne with the people of Sheeta. I don't recognize a lot of the people, but it seems like the crystals are a year-round decoration. The one person I recognize besides the Ari ladies is the elder. She's in a lot of pictures. There's one where she's with the Ari ladies at what looks like a party, another where she's with them surrounded by flowers. Cologne looks unimpressed with the situation in that picture. The elder might show up in pictures more than Cologne. She certainly shows up more with the people of Sheeta. Cologne shows up more in what I think are pictures of the different Ari ladies from across Pagos. They're wearing variations of the same crystal-colored white gowns Cologne and Skrion wear. They're just different colors. More evidence that the bright colors are an Ari lady thing. There are a lot of pictures of Skrion with an older pale green Ari lady. They seem close to the green Ari ladies. There are a lot of pictures of Cologne with the other Ari ladies around her age, but the only one she looks fond of in the picture is the younger muted green one. Hey! I don't jump and scream before I turn around to see Cologne smiling, almost smirking. Am I really that scary? She asks.